Alrighty, daily trading recap for this Tuesday, the 2nd of November, 2021. Again, another little red day on the P&L. Just after one trade, nothing really tickling my fancy in regards for patterns or anything I was seeing. Of course, always a lot of opportunity out there, just nothing on my personality scale of what I was looking to go hard after. Some other charts that I want to mention here a little bit after my trade on EQOS, but we'll get into those in a little bit. We had some car movers today: auto, car, HTZZ, Hertz. Bitcoin sector plays moving a little bit as well, with as we're kind of tackling just under all-time highs here for Bitcoin, Mara, Riot. NXTD's having a little bit of a down day, but some other HUT, another Bitcoin mover here, SPY, another little green day, 0.4% to the upside. I think all-time highs once again. Insanity. But also market internals, let's get into for housekeeping. We are 5 minutes after the close here. NASDAQ, $221 billion volume on the day. NICE, $235 billion volume. OTCs, wow, $3.2 billion volume. Good to see there. Let's get into EQOS, which was my first trade. Looking for like a third day surge type of pattern. This one had a very nice run on Friday, that first green day, trading day, first kind of parabolic, nice green move day. We have this past little weekish of trading days that have had some nice volume, so looking for any amount of support continuation off of that. This is a little bit of a low floater, 33 million floater. I did a little bit of a better job of sticking to my monthly goal, which is being as sniperish as possible with my entries and not just chasing randomly, seeing green and just buying wherever I feel like it. I've certainly been working, my goal at least is to be working harder on allowing the trade to come to me, not getting so emotional from the get-go when I enter a trade from the start. So did not follow that to it, I should say this trade wasn't a highlight for me in that respect, but was fully conscious of that, of saying, hey, don't just completely chase it. Don't try to fight it to get 623 at the exact top, because I was absolutely top ticking these stickers, buying at the top and selling at the bottoms. So going forward, I definitely want to get out of that mindset and just, whether that comes from just being more patient, allowing the trades to develop a little bit further, and that may even come through, or that may also have a side effect of me not getting in losing trades like this one, of recognizing, man, I'm kind of looking for a good entry here, and I think I'm seeing the signs of potential support, but it's just not happening, and then not even taking the trade and getting out of it. And those don't really get factored in as data of great avoidances of losing trades, but I think this monthly goal is definitely going to establish me going in the right direction of that, of kind of the unwritten or uncalculated data side of things, of the trades that I potentially don't get into, or the mental capital that I'm still able to save by not just kind of wasting or throwing it on tickers like this. So certainly other tickers that were far more volatile, far more meaningful on the day, but I felt the opportunity was potentially on this one for the levels it was holding around the $6 whole dollar level area. The after hours from yesterday, pre-market today, looked decent if the volume could come today to push this thing to the upside. The volume profile as well, we were kind of tackling just right around this area as some line of resistance, potential interference that could get in the way of this thing. If we were able to get to the upside of that we could see some greater moves beyond it. Still maintain that same position size that I've been taking on all these right around that $500 mark, and started sizing it a little bit of saying, man, I feel like the trade could potentially happen from here. So I started in with, I knew I was going to take around an 80 share position size. So saying, okay, I'm trying to get sniperish with my entries, but I could potentially just even miss this trade. I think the bid's being supported here with the huge volume we had on that first crazy green candle. It was a little bit wicky, a little bit wide on these minute candles for how it was trading. But there was certainly support at 6.2 on the bid, and it was still printing wide on the ask for what widest spread this was trading at. And was able to get filled at 619 as we was pulling back a little bit more, but 610 was holding, able to get like 613, and then just completely wiped out below 610. They just ripped through those bidders, and this thing just started to fall off, and $6 was the next dollar obvious key level to break on the bid and technically as well, and that I was able to get out there before it just catapulted underneath that. Nothing came of this trade. Stupid. I look back at it as like, what was I looking at? Just, there was no opportunity, no amount of fun volume, any aspect of it, but just continuing to learn and develop what I'm seeing in these trades, or what to look for in that style of trade. That was the only loss on the day, learning from it. Other tickers I wanted to mention, AABB. This one is a heavy watch as well. This fourth green day now. that we're in became this huge first red day, big volume on the day. And again, not hard panic. Unfortunate to see that it just becomes a stair step, just stutter step all the way down that just fails to ever really create a nice, clean panic that a lot of people can profit off of. A lot of people are going to get screwed over, but that's the kind of nature of trading. And golly, it's just frustrating to see how good it looks on the daily, that you're thinking, looking back at this in the past of, man, let's look at the intraday price action. That could have been a nice little opportunity there to scale in. And then you look at the intraday chart and it's just like, oh no, that was just so stupid, just so choppy, and no amount, even, people are screwing themselves over in the chat of looking at this move into the close as a dip buy, but just like, why? No, that's not a trade whatsoever. Just absolutely gross. That was AABB. Also want to mention OLB. Watch this one in the pre-market. I traded this one short on the 19th. I actually mentioned this one in the monthly recap for the similar type of morning dump setup, but that was a far less percentage move spike in the pre-market. This was close to around 80% that we were tackling within 3 minutes, going from kind of around that $8 level that where it closed from yesterday at $4.50, close to 100% move. So I didn't want to touch it for that reason. Also a super low floater at 2 million something. And again, it's not a biotech sector play whatsoever, so knew I was not going to short it. For funsies, I probably should have looked up just what the locate fees were if it was even tradable through Trade Zero to the short side. And never really in this pre-market cracked VWAP as a strong indicator that, man, this thing is weak, the trend has shifted now. Just didn't give me that vibe. And of course, it was very close to market open as well, which I just try to stay away from that. They may end up working out kind of like this one did within that first 3-4 minutes of trading from the morning open. That, okay, there's your little 10%. If you're trading this from 8, easy cover at 7 right away within 2 minutes. It actually halted, after 2 minutes. That was fun to see. But these ones, as they get bumped so close, they release this new cat. And mentioning why I didn't trade short as well, because I didn't see a news catalyst right away or what the reasoning for this run-up was. And it was obviously for MasterCard cryptocurrency processing news. Hitting some buzzwords there. Interesting one to see, and had a huge another short squeeze coming into the just right potentially at the end of the morning session here as it's hovering around holding VWAP, get a squeeze to break to new high of day, shopping around again, kind of quad topping or even 5 topping, you want to call it, taps 12.8. So many little fake outs, breakdowns. I think Mark Crook was heavy long in this one still in this afternoon lunch session, and he got stopped out in this big final stuff. That was unfortunate to see, and kind of the death blow for the rest of the day on that ticker. And number 7 as well too, Jack, number 2, pointing out in the chat of he was going short this one from that morning session, or I think maybe trying to short from that reclaim peak, that maybe on that downside that he was getting short. I wasn't very sure, but pointing out of how many times this one was trying to just catapult with very quick price action, almost like the market makers were looking for a circuit halt like they got within that first 2 minutes of market open, just of so wishy-washy, so manipulated that, okay, you can do what you want to do, but I'm going to stay on the sidelines. And I think he was very wise in coming from his experience of being able to stay away from this one of, even though there might be opportunity and you might be correct, it's just kind of hit or miss at sometimes with what manipulators want to do with these throughout the day for multi-day perspective if you're going beyond that time frame. But good experience from him as well to get that insight. OCGN, I also want to mention, man, this one's I was on the right track for that swing. I just kind of, when I was in it, kind of petered out, and I think I was ending up stopping around here on this day or one of these days, and then pretty much right after that, that's when it started this ramp up. So that's what I was looking for in that swing idea thesis. And again, a hard, random fall off that produces an awesome little dip buy. I was able to see this live, and what I was thinking of, hey, maybe you should hop on this as a dip buy opportunity. That was very nice and beautiful little panic there. Ended up going a little further, but I totally forgot about it. I saw on Twitter when I was looking for a reason why this thing was just dumping off. I totally forgot about it on this day. This was just last week, precisely on Tuesday as well too, that it did the same thing. I think we can even pull up this perspective a little better. Just kind of looks like it's holding nice in the morning session, then boom, just dies off and even breaks a new low there, a little relative low, breaks to a new low of day, holding, kind of reclaiming VWAP a little bit more, then another time just absolutely slammed. I completely forgot about that, but man, after today and after realizing that it just does that routinely over and over again, and after seeing this rise back into the close, now we're coming back to that $16 level, just absolutely ludicrous. It makes me just totally want to stay away from it. It turns me off. It's just like that price action is just too choppy, too unclean for me to develop any kind of pattern or recognition of what's going on there. So kind of turns me off in that light. Very weird that I also wrote here that how does it not get circuit halted when this thing was just dumping off the planet for a huge percentage move? 15.25 that we're dumping all the way down to 12.75. This thing didn't get halted once. Where's the circuit halt set at? Very weird in that light. And no news for the drop off either, so don't know. PHUN first screen day. Man, I was watching this one out of the open. I wrote it on the watch list on the daily trading recap from yesterday. After the first 2 minutes of market open, I knew it wasn't going to happen within the morning session, and forgot about it for the afternoon. And I don't know if even I would have been back in time after the gym or whatever I was doing to see this awesome, beautiful entry point here. That would have been, man, coming in with volume, continuing to put in higher lows. That's not awesome, right? Dear. Building with volume, bouncing off of VWAP perfectly, continuing to put in higher lows, testing that high of day 3.8-ish level, and then you just get a slam to the upside with volume above that 3.8. Continues to just spike from there. Immediate little 10% move right away within that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes window. Very, very nice that I was totally missed, but great opportunity for a first screen day move on that one. And then I want to mention BAOS and WIMI for the moves that I want to be looking for the rest of this week and potentially the near-term future as trades. These ones were a little bit too soon of dyers. And, of course, BAOS was just crazy percentage move. They're just like, I don't even know what trade as a long you can take there for how it was moving into market open. But then WIMI, the same thing of these things just have their little pre-market spike. They do whatever they want to do. They hit the pre-market scanners, attract if they get any amount of attention from the long side of retail traders, and then just die off. And these ones were a little bit too soon, but I feel like I want to start hammering these hards with real day trades, with real cash, playing for that non-sniperish, non-precision execution short trade to an afternoon fade. That I feel like these things just continue to time and time again do whatever they want to do in the morning session. I would particularly like to see them hold some amount of strength within that morning session, tickle a few longs, and just dance around. Not maybe to the extent that OLB was trading at, that it was going absolutely berserk, but if you take out this entire section, if this thing just maintained, if you take all that out and this thing just maintained that choppy level, it is still up like 80% from where it was trading the previous trading day. But as it's holding here, I feel like the probability of those ones is similar to what it did after this whole little block was done, of that it's just a very nice, probable just fade because nobody's attracted to it anymore. Yes, you can say tried to reclaim VWAP here a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still cracking new lows. It's tapping 8 here just before we get to that closing time. Yeah, I definitely want to start playing that just fade pattern as a overall market pattern type. That was the same thesis that I carried for that morning dump short trade, and that doesn't really happen again. That's what I was looking for OLB for, but just didn't happen because I knew the market sentiment wasn't there for it. And so I believe this could be another pattern to start to hit on that type of thesis as well. So that's all I wanted to mention. Watch list, nothing really hard for me going right now. GMBL maybe for a potential swing. Daily's looking pretty downtrodden, but a nice little volume day here. Standalone volume candle day with, what percentage is that? 28, just under 30% move on the day. Esports company, low floater of 13 million, is that right? For where it's at, American company too. So could look at this one in the next few days, not necessarily tomorrow that I'm dead set on this one, of if I see any dip buy opportunities, if I see any technical levels start to be held on this one, start to take a similar type of approach that I took with OCGN, maybe size up a little bit more on position size, closer to potentially $200, $300 position size that I could see myself taking on this one. If for some reason we start to see an esports sector or a gambling sector momentum start to come in with this a little bit, I will certainly be interested in. But that is all I had. I sincerely thank you guys all for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.